we're going to start working in Google Sites. Google Sites is the free website creation tool that comes with your GApps account. As a point of reference, if you have your own personal Gmail account, you will also have your own personal Sites account. Okay? So we're going to be working in GApps, but anything we do in GApps, you'll be able to apply that same skill to your own personal websites using your own personal Gmail account. Okay? So everyone sign in. Once you're signed in, you're going to go up to the 9 little boxes, which is your Google Apps icon. Click on it, and you should see, it may not be in exactly where mine is, but you should see a Sites icon. Okay? So go ahead and click on Sites. And when you click on Sites, yours will probably be blank. Now, you can do this on your iPad, but there is no, that I could find, there is no special or separate Sites app. You know, like there's a Google Docs app and a Google Slides app and all that. I was not able to find a Google Sites app. So what you would do is you'd go on your iPad, you'd go into Google Chrome, you'd sign in if you need to, you'd do the same thing, go up to the little more icon and find the Sites option, and you can do all of the same things on your iPad if that's what you choose to do. Okay? So you probably don't have anything listed because you have not created a site before. I want to talk a little bit about this before we actually jump into it. So I have been playing just a little bit, and this is a generic template. There's no template applied to it, it's just a blank template, blank generic template. What I did was I used it and then I started changing things. Okay? So you'll see in just a couple minutes what a truly blank generic template looks like. And then we'll look back at this and you'll see, oh, this does look different. The colors are different, etc. Okay? We talked about why you're going to create a website, but let's review that. One of the things is by using websites, by having you create websites, you will actually be applying every possible cognitive skill you can think of. You're going to be paying attention to details. You're going to be sequencing. You're going to be doing decision making. You're absolutely going to be doing problem solving. You're going to be doing all sorts of cognitive skills as you learn to create the website. And then as you maintain the website, if you so choose to do that over a period of time, you're going to be practicing those skills over and over and over again. So Google Sites is a function or an application, whatever you want to call it, that does things for you. So you don't have to know the HTML code behind what you're doing. Okay? You will not see the HTML code behind the template that Google provides. But what we will do is we will be going into the HTML code in the text that you're going to be adding to all of this so that you can get a little bit of an understanding of that concept of HTML. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And that is the fundamental code that creates websites. Used to be the only code out there, and now there's all these extra special programs and programming languages and stuff that work in order to make websites do special things. But HTML is really the foundation of all of that. Okay? So, what we're going to be doing, in addition to using sites as a way of practicing and applying cognitive skills, what we're going to be doing is we're going to use this as our ABI portfolio. So one of the things that the goal is for you to leave the program with a portfolio of some kind. For some people, that's on paper and pencil and a notebook. For other people, it might be a blog. For other people, it can be this. For you guys, for right now, it's going to be this. Okay? So as you can see, I have the label, ABI Portfolio. I have my home page. It's labeled as home. Over here is my navigation. So I've created a section called Cognitive, and in that section I wrote or created a page called Decision Making and one called Reading to Learn. Okay, then I have another page, totally separate page, that's called Nuggets. Then I have another page that's called Psychosocial that has subpages to it, communication and the brain. Do you see that? Then I have a separate page called Successes, and the Google template creates something called Sitemap. I didn't create that, it does it for it. Okay. So we're going to start with this stuff because this is the stuff that we're working on right now, right? You just finished the brain, I think, right, with Kim? And you guys are working on communication? I hope? Okay, good.
Communication disorders right now.
Yeah, that's fine. So communication in general. So these are the 2 topics for this 8 weeks. And this is the topic for this 8 weeks. But I know you have a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of images and stuff that you might want to include about the brain. And so I included the brain in the psychosocial thing just to give us a start. You can add more stuff to this. Second 8 weeks, we're going to be doing memory and external memory and something. And so we would add that to our cognitive list. And whatever Kim is talking about in psychosocial, you would add that to your psychosocial list. So again, as you go through, it's going to become your portfolio of what you've learned in the ABI program. Okay? So I want to look at successes for just a second. Because successes is set up as a blog post. And Google Sites allows you to create different kinds of pages. So I'm going to show you all that. But this is a blog post. So what you can do is you can go in and you can create a new post at any given point in time, each day or each week or however you're going to end up doing it, and you can post your successes. Okay? There's a difference between a blog page and just a regular web page. And you'll see the differences as we proceed through this. But this is a blog page. Notice I have the option to create a new post. Okay? So I'm going to do that real quick just so that you can see. So new post. You'll see here I've given this particular thing the title. I've said so far so good, I haven't messed up yet except for my typing. And then you see up where it says save draft or save. Okay. Now, I haven't published this yet, so it's okay for me to say save. I'm going to go ahead and say save because I want you to be able to see what it looks like. It says publishing up here at the top.
So save publishes it, but save draft just kind of like gives you a draft.
That's correct. You'll see it says once it published it, it says Google Sites class, and then so far so good. Now, if I were to go in and I were to post another one, it would be on top of this because the blog is just like the stream that we have in Google Classroom, right? And so each time you go in and you add a success, it's just going to show up, and you can write whatever you want about the success. If you wrote an article or wrote something for class, or you found out you're this DMSI kind of a decision maker, you can actually, Google Sites allows you to post attachments to the various and sundry pages. So you could add a picture if you wanted to. You could take your DMSI score sheet if you wanted to and publish and post that. It will allow you to do lots of different kinds of things. Okay? So, that's a blog page versus a web page. Okay, so this is an example of a web page. So I created the web page. You'll see Reading to Learn up here, right? Notice that it gives us something called breadcrumbs. Notice up at the top where it says cognitive. So this is telling me that Reading to Learn is a sub part of, or is saved under, in a hierarchical kind of a sense. It's part of cognitive, the bigger picture. So we've talked about structure and how you have to pay attention to structure when you're reading, and how you have to pay attention to structure for all sorts of different things. This is the same. So I have a breadcrumb up at the top. You always know it's a breadcrumb because it'll give you one thing with a little greater than sign. And then if I were to have multiple layers here, it would show all the different layers. It's a way of helping you know what you've clicked on in order to get where you are right now. Okay? So this is a basic web page. I grabbed the text that we had from our agenda about good readers, and I added a PDF of what's my purpose. Now, this is not a blog post, so I can't just go in and say new post and then have it show up above, and it doesn't just stream through. This is actually a page.
So it's
So
static? It doesn't really
It's
change?
static. So what I have to do is if I want to change the information on this page, I have to go in and I have to actually edit this page. Google provides lots of different templates. The reason we're going to do the blank generic template is because if we start from an empty palette, so to speak, you'll be able to see exactly what's changing. If we use a template that has all sorts of other stuff in it, sometimes it's hard to tell what's changing versus what's not changing because there's so much information on it.